Coming up on the Paper Talk today, we'll be looking at Jadon Sancho. He's set for crunch talks with Erik ten Hag. Also, a little bit of an update or a reminder, shall I say, about what's happening with Antony. Plus, why weren't Rasmus Hojlund shirts on sale? Let's find out. Jay here for Stretford Paddock. This is the Paper Talk. As you can see, I'm outside Old Trafford and it's pretty mild. It's a little bit breezy, but a nice breeze, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, we'll get straight into it. Loads of stories to get through. Make sure you are hitting like, share and subscribe even to the channel. We want to get to 800,000 subscribers, and with your support, we can do it. Right, should we start with, I'll give you a little bit of a recap from yesterday's story. I had this in my Gazette covering for Adam McCauley yesterday morning about Antony. The club announcing and him releasing a statement as well, saying that he's basically going to be put on a leave of absence for the foreseeable future following the allegations that have come to light regarding domestic abuse, his allegations of domestic violence against him. So I think there was his ex-girlfriend who came forward, and there's two other people that have also come forward now. So whilst that's going on, the club have given him a leave of absence. I read all these statements out yesterday, and I'm sure you've seen them online. I'll just briefly sort of go through a couple of lines of it. I don't need to read it all out. I'm sure you've read it, heard it, or seen it already. It just says, United, club statement says, Manchester United acknowledges the allegations made against Antony. Players who have not participated in international matches are due back in training on Monday, meaning today. However, it has been agreed that with Antony that he will delay his return until further notice in order to discuss the allegations. In order to address the allegations, forgive me. And he's put a statement out saying, basically, I have agreed with Manchester United to take a period of absence while I address the allegations made against me. He says it's a mutual decision. Listen, whilst that's going on, we'll wait and see what happens. I don't want to get into too much opinion stuff when it's an investigation going on, but the fact of the matter remains is there's 3 accusations. The club, as far as I know, is 3. The club have given him a leave of absence, so he's not available for Erik ten Hag for the foreseeable future. That's another player, if you want to talk about it in a football sense of the word, it's another player Erik ten Hag can't call upon. We've already got a few injuries now. There's another player for different reasons, obviously, that's not available, and we'll have to wait and see when he does become available, because when he's fit and he plays under Erik ten Hag, you might not rate him, you might not think he's good enough, or you might think he's good enough, but he is a regular under Erik ten Hag, and that's a regular first-team member no longer available. Now, another player who's not always a first-team player is, of course, Jadon Sancho. We know what, again, I don't want to keep going over old ground. You know what's happened with this one in terms of, excuse me, the manager made a comment after the Arsenal game as to why Jadon Sancho wasn't available. He just said about his performance levels in training, I'm sort of paraphrasing there, weren't good enough or wasn't up to the sort of standard you need, so he wasn't picked. Jadon Sancho pushed back with a Twitter post sort of saying that basically that wasn't true and that there's other reasons behind him not being in the squad and he's being made a scapegoat, that sort of thing. However, nothing has changed in terms of Erik ten Hag hasn't said anything, Jadon Sancho hasn't said anything. We've had a few stories being leaked. There was a story about Erik ten Hag mentioned Jadon Sancho's mental health when he shouldn't have done and all this nonsense. And I say nonsense, not dismissing mental health issues. I just thought that story was nonsense, because when you look at what Erik ten Hag said in the press conference that story referred to, he said there were physical and mental. So he said you wanted to get Jadon Sancho back when he was physically and mentally ready or whatever it was. It wasn't like, for me anyway, that he said anything that was crossing a line. So I think too much was made out of that from that story, if I'm being brutally honest. There's also been daft stories, and I think they are daft, about Jadon Sancho's rude to staff. Things like that. It just feels like there's a bit of tit-tat going on in the newspapers from Manchester United and from Jadon Sancho's camp, and it doesn't help anyone. The manager and Jadon Sancho need to sort it out, and according to James Ducker in the Telegraph, they're going to do that. They're going to do it today. They're set to have talks today to address the situation. Hopefully there can be some sort of resolution. There was talk that Borussia Dortmund might be back in for Jadon Sancho. That isn't going to happen until January though. There's a lot of football to be played between now and January, and also with Antony missing, we know that Mason Green was not available for different reasons. Well, say different reasons, you know what I mean. So Jadon Sancho is a player, 73 million quid player, you think the manager would want to use if he's good enough, if he's fit enough, and if he's putting the performances in training. And it's up to Jadon Sancho to do that. It's up to Jadon Sancho to prove that. I don't think you can not put the performances on or not reach the levels you should do in training and then just say, oh, well, if I have a chat with the manager, I can talk my way back into the team. You're going to have to show him in training. That's what Jadon Sancho needs to do. He needs to do it ASAP. As soon as in the first training session, he needs to show what he's about, get back into the manager's plan. Show the manager that he can't drop you. That's what we want to see from all players at Manchester United, including Jadon Sancho. So, as always, we'll keep you posted on any developments there. Another player who's not been available is Mason Mount. However, according to Simon Johnson in the Athletic, this is on Saturday, I think this was out, said that Mason Mount could be returning versus Bayern Munich. We play Bayern Munich later this month, and Mason Mount has been penciled in as his return. He's not been available for a few weeks now, as he obviously it's international break, so he's not been with England because of his injury, but he could be back for the Bayern Munich game. I hope so anyway, because we need him. Just another story as well about Rasmus Hojlund. It's a bit of a funny one, this. Apparently, right, the club shop didn't have Rasmus Hojlund shirts. There's a story in the Daily Mail because they didn't have the Danish O, the O with the line through it. They didn't have any of those, so they couldn't do a Hojlund shirt. I mean, I don't know, it just seems a bit ridiculous, doesn't it? You've got a big star signing and you can't sell shirts with his name on the back when you meant to be this commercial behemoth because you haven't got the right letters. What's all that about? Get a grip. Yeah. Anyway, loads of good stuff coming up this week on the channel. We've got the Paddock podcast later on today. Uncle Webby's coming in. Yes, maybe he'll have some stories about his mates. If you ever saw the Brew a few weeks ago when he was on, it was hilarious. But we'll be chatting to him about everything that's going on at Manchester United. Also later on this week, you're going to have Uncensored, you're going to have Off the Bar, you're going to have the Brew. Plus, at the end of the week, or on Saturday, we've got Brighton as well. There's going to be football back on. So we're going to have the watch along, we'll have previews before that as well, and we'll have all the reactions. So make sure you are subscribing to the channel. Hit like, share, and subscribe. Hopefully as well, there's some better news on the horizon at Manchester United, because it's all been a bit doom and gloom recently, hasn't it? With the Antony situation, the Jadon Sancho situation. It isn't great. Hopefully, we can get back to the football, get back to winning football matches, and put a smile back on our faces in relatively sunny Manchester. I've been Jay Motty. This has been a Paper Talk. Thanks for watching.